No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Friday Night Smackdown for December 6th, 2024, featuring the fallout from Survivor Series. We also have Saturday night's main event with the return of Jesse the Body Ventura coming up next Saturday. NoDQ.com, of course, will have live coverage of Saturday night's main event next Saturday. And don't forget, this weekend, this Saturday, we have NXT Deadline. I will be doing live results coverage on NoDQ.com Saturday night, and there will be a live stream with my recap of the show right on the NoDQ YouTube channel, NoDQ.com/YouTube. Now, at the very end of this stream, I will give my quick predictions for NXT Deadline, so stay tuned for that. Now, speaking of Jesse Ventura, SmackDown this week was in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We had a recap of Survivor Series. We had some injury news. We knew about Bronson Reed. He suffered a broken foot. They showed a slow motion replay of it. It looked pretty brutal. Not Sid Vicious level from WCW, but a bad injury nonetheless. He's out for the indefinite future, according to WWE. Jimmy Uso also out with a broken toe. And one thing we did not know, Tonga Loa is out of action with a torn bicep. He had surgery. He will be out indefinitely. WarGames, it is a dangerous match. I have to say, though, at this point, maybe we should stop with people jumping off the top of the cage. It seems like the risk of injury is pretty high. Remember what happened to Adam Copeland in AEW? And now Bronson Reed is out. Jimmy Uso broke his toe. Might be time to put a roof back on that cage. Just saying. Now, we had Cody Rhodes come into the ring. He talked about Kevin Owens, but very quickly he was interrupted by Monday Night Raw's American Made. Yes, it is that time of year where the brand extension doesn't matter, but apparently there is this trade window. Chad Gable brought up how Nick Aldis invited him to SmackDown. Gable is from Minneapolis, so it's his hometown. Still got booed. He talked about how Cody Rhodes has been a bad friend to Kevin Owens. Cody's superficial, and whatever happens to Cody, Cody deserves. Now, Cody responded by praising Gable for maximizing his minutes, for overcoming Shorty G, just like Cody overcame Stardust, and we got chance for both of those old school gimmicks. Cody then also brought up how, for his own career, he overcame the 3-second tan at WrestleMania 39, which is an interesting line. That's from John Cena's theme music. Is that a clue to the future? Who knows? But anyways, Cody questioned if Gable can reach the greatness that Cody did after losing and being in a tough spot. So Cody challenged Gable to a match for the SmackDown main event, which is fine. I mean, nobody in their right mind expects Chad Gable to beat Cody, but it's a nice little filler match for SmackDown, and we'll talk about that in a few moments. Michael Cole on commentary did confirm that the general managers will be talking, so apparently there is going to be some sort of a superstar shakeup in January. Sounds to me like Roman Reigns is going to Monday Night Raw and SmackDown is going to become more the B show. but that remains to be seen. They also mentioned a couple of NXT names possibly moving. The 3 general managers are going to discuss things. We'll see what happens. And are they still going to do a full-blown draft in April, or are they just going to shelf that this year? I don't know. But one would think Roman Reigns is going to be on Raw in the immediate future, because Raw is the A show come January, and Roman Reigns has to be on the A show. That's just the way it is. Opening to SmackDown was fine. The brand extension is what it is, and we'll see what they do. I figured Roman Reigns would be on Raw, but I guess they wanted to have it be somewhat of an official change and not just, oh, Roman Reigns is on Raw. Instead, WWE is actually going to have a few people switching brands. That's what I think. Now, backstage, what is left of the Bloodline, they arrived and they're pissed off. Apollo Crews made a cameo getting super kicked by Jacob Fatu, and then security got beat up by the new Bloodline. More on that in a little bit. We had our first match of the evening, which was a triple threat in the women's tournament. We had Tiffany Stratton, who's from Minnesota. She got a big pop, unlike Gable, versus Elektra Lopez versus Naomi, Naomi. It was a competitive match between the 3 ladies. Naomi hit a rear view to Tiffany, and then Candice LeRae interfered. Elektra Lopez took advantage, but then Naomi regained control, hit a split-legged moonsault, but then Tiffany took out Naomi with a swanton, and then Tiffany pinned Elektra Lopez with the prettiest moonsault ever to advance in the tournament. More on Candice LeRae in just a little bit. Match was solid. And backstage, a fight broke out between Bianca Belair, Chelsea Green, and Piper Niven. The bad girls took out Bianca, but that set up a match. We had another women's match, 2 back-to-back, Bianca versus Piper Niven. But then, before the match, we found out that the Street Profits had been attacked backstage. They were scheduled for a tag team title match with the Motor City Machine Guns. Now, as it turns out, Johnny Gargano was there and asked Nick Aldis if DIY could step in. Very convenient. Motor City Machine Guns were like, fine, and Nick Aldis made the match. I mean, this to me felt very suspicious, but nobody doubted it. Motor City Machine Guns were like, cool, that's fine. And Nick Aldis was like, all right, you guys want the match? Sure. Whatever. I think it was a little too obvious that something was up here. If I'm Nick Aldis, I'm not just giving DIY a title match after the original challengers get attacked by somebody backstage. Shout out to Carl, who sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Carl. Carl says, could AJ Styles be back for the Royal Rumble? Miss him. Things have been very quiet about AJ Styles. I would hope he'll be back by then, but with his type of injury and his age, it's really hard to say. It sucks, though. They definitely had something going on with him, but then he got hurt. Now, I guess the positive is that they can play up on it. Like, hey, maybe he's washed up. Maybe it's time to call it a career. We'll see. Nothing's really come out about him, but the fact that he hasn't returned leads me to believe that it was, in fact, a legitimate injury that he suffered on that SmackDown. Next up, we had Bianca Belair versus Piper Niven, which, granted, it's been a while, but I think I've seen one too many Bianca and Piper matches in my lifetime. I'm good. I didn't really need this match, to be fair. Having said that, it might have been their best singles match that they had on SmackDown. It was very good for a TV match. Bianca was selling her ribs during the match, and of course, it's the usual deal here. She couldn't slam or pick up Piper. Piper was too large, and she had the bad ribs on top of it. And then Piper missed a cannonball, but she managed to hit a sit-down power bomb. However, Bianca kicked out of that. Crowd was enjoying it for what it was. They chanted, "This is awesome." And then Piper went to do the Vader bomb or whatever in the corner, but then Bianca caught her, and Chelsea Green tried to interfere. So Chelsea was brought into the ring, and then somehow she pulled it off. Just like when John Cena gets up the Big Show. Holy crap. She gets her up for the KOD. What a shocker. She somehow managed to do it. Bianca Belair with the KOD onto Chelsea Green. And Chelsea did a great job, as always, of selling it. And then Bianca, of course, got the win. I give them a pass because they were a little bit more creative with it. I like the KOD onto Chelsea, but I mean, we've seen that spot so many times. We've seen this match so many times. I do give them a little bit of credit for giving us a creative twist on it. But yeah, it was a little bit more than the same old match we've ever seen from them. Crowd loved it. It is what it is. We had a Nakamura video package. Nakamura won the United States Championship at Survivor Series from LA Knight. Nakamura came to the ring to celebrate his victory. He was quickly interrupted by LA Knight. LA Knight called him a sorry excuse for a U.S. champion. Not the real deal. LA Knight wanted a rematch. He put on his sunglasses, a.k.a. his mist blockers. But then Andrade showed up. Andrade said he wanted an opportunity, and LA Knight said he's going to beat Nakamura, and then he'll give Andrade a shot. But then all of a sudden, we had the Bloodline showing up. The Bloodline laid out LA Knight and Andrade. Nakamura was left in the ring, but Nakamura decided to leave the ring. He fled, and then LA Knight and Andrade both got hit with the Samoan spike from a very pissed off Solo Sikoa. He got on the mic and basically said that even though they're down 2 men from Survivor Series, it's not the end of the new Bloodline. You had Solo with the Ula Fala saying that he's still the tribal chief and still the head of the table. Clearly, we're getting one more Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa match. It's just a matter of when. Promo was fine. Keeps these guys busy. Keeps them as maybe somewhat of a threat to set up whatever's next with Roman Reigns. And not sure what's up with Bronson Reed. I feel like he was a temporary member, but do they bring him back? If there's even a Bloodline when he returns, that remains to be seen. We had Ciampa backstage with Gargano, and Gargano wanted to know if things were good now between them, but Ciampa said not quite yet. He wanted to see what happened in the match. And Kevin Owens was in his car cutting a promo, said he didn't want to ever be in Minneapolis, and he said if Michael Cole wanted to talk to him, to come to his car and speak with him. We'll get to that in just a few moments. We had our tag team title match, DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns. Ciampa was being very aggressive as a heel. He tagged in Gargano, was barking orders, would tag himself back in. But then Ciampa accidentally hit Gargano. Ciampa called him stupid. And then Shelley avoided the fairy tale ending. Sabin got the hot tag, but then Ciampa regained control, tagged in Gargano. They had more issues. Gargano shoved Ciampa after Ciampa shoved him first. Then Motor City Machine Guns went to finish off Gargano, but then Ciampa grabbed the chair, distracted the referee, and then Swerve. Johnny Gargano broke the rules. Low blow to Chris Sabin. He took out Shelley with a super kick, and then they had DIY take out Sabin with meat in the middle. 1, 2, 3. New tag team champions. Motor City Machine Guns only having, a 40-day reign as tag team champions? DIY, both are officially heels. I'm a little surprised that they changed the title so quickly, but now you got the full-blown DIY heel tag team. And then backstage, they celebrated with Candice LeRae, who was also a heel. So maybe the way is getting back together. Too bad they got rid of Indy Hartwell. Just saying. Shout out to Michael, who sent in a $2 super chat. Says, Aaron is excited that DIY will get heel theme song. Well, I wonder if they'll just take A-Town Down Under's music and give it to DIY and do like a remix, because those two songs already sounded fairly similar to begin with. But yeah, it was all a setup apparently. DIY pulling off the swerve. Shout out to the Game Is On 100 who sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, heel tag champs DIY in the Barney voice. I like it. Yeah, good segment for DIY. I'm happy for them. Where does Motor City Machine Guns go from here? Hopefully it's not somewhere shitty and they have a pretty solid run despite not being tag team champions. We had Michael Cole outside in the freezing cold temperatures in Minneapolis, Minnesota, getting into Kevin Owens's 68-degree car. This was creative, having this little conversation in the car, something different. And Cole tried to talk about how he was one of Owens's biggest supporters until recently. And Owens once again brought up how he feuded with Roman Reigns only for Cody to team up with Roman. And Cole said that several guys, including Sami Zayn, felt that it was the right thing to do to help Roman Reigns. And Owens did say he'll cross the Sami Zayn bridge when he gets to it. Is that a WrestleMania teaser? Guess we'll find out soon enough. We got this so-called superstar shakeup coming up. And then Michael Cole called Owens petty, said Owens is the problem. Owens was very offended by this, and he ordered Cole to get out of his car, his rental vehicle, and then Kevin Owens drove off. So he was apparently gone from the arena, or so we were led to believe. Now, backstage, Carmelo Hayes was venting to Nick Aldis about lack of opportunities, said maybe Monday Night Mellow sounds good. But then Aldis said that, hey, that doesn't actually sound like a bad thing. Carmelo can be Adam Pearce's problem. We had our main event of the evening, Cody Rhodes versus Chad Gable. They had their little feeling out process in the beginning, but then Ivy Nile got on the apron. Chad Gable took advantage, targeted the ankle of Cody, drove it into the ring post, and then after the commercial break, Cody was able to make his comeback, delivered an inverted superplex, hit a cutter, but then Julius Creed. We had the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile out there. Julius pulled Gable outside of the ring. However, the referee was not going to tolerate that, and American Made were banned from ringside. And then Chad Gable was able to regain control. He took off Cody's boot, applied the ankle lock. Cody escaped, delivered another cutter, and then Gable countered the crossroads, put on the ankle lock again, but Cody got to the rope, and then Cody avoided the moonsault and finally got the win over a very game Chad Gable with the crossroads. Match was good, predictable, but good. But then after the match was over, Kevin Owens showed up in the ring. Cody's there with his exposed ankle, and Kevin Owens stomped on it. Now, when this happened right here, I was like, this is actually a good angle. I like this. Kevin Owens showing up, stomping on the exposed ankle. They could do a big, heavy angle here with Cody being hurt. But then Cody basically no-sells it and fights back and actually does a dive over the top rope to Owens. You have the officials coming out there, and it's the lame-ass pull-apart brawl that they do all the time. And, of course, the crowd eats it up. They always do. Let them fight. Let them fight. I actually thought they dropped the ball here with the finish. Kevin Owens should have taken him out, and Cody should have been in really bad shape, with the medical people coming out there. Like, get some real heat on Kevin Owens. Why did they have to have Cody fight back and then do the pull-apart brawl, which has been done to death? So, yeah, kind of a thumbs down ending for me. I did not like the ending of SmackDown. I think they didn't do it right. So, yeah, I kind of felt like the end was a downer. They didn't fully capitalize on that opportunity to get some heat on Kevin Owens. Show was solid. Not great, though. I was actually leaning towards a B, but the ending takes it down a little. I'm going with a B- for SmackDown. Solid show, but definitely not a home run. A little disappointing coming off Survivor Series. And as far as Saturday night's main event build goes, not too bad, but nothing all that significant either. Still kind of feels like, a glorified Raw SmackDown, which is basically what it is anyways. Shout out to Carl, who sent in another £2 or €2 super chat. Might be £2. Says, Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar on Netflix 1 Raw. What do you think? It ain't going to happen. Highly unlikely in all likelihood. But it would be a good hook for the first Raw. They don't really need it, though. They got John Cena. That alone will be big. I feel like Roman Reigns will probably be advertised. They might end up doing the Roman Reigns versus Solo match on Raw for all I know. It ain't going to happen. First of all, Brock's not wrestling. If Brock even comes back, which is a big maybe, he's not going to be wrestling on Raw. And they already got enough, like I said, for that first Raw. Will The Rock show up? I think that's more likely, and even that is up in the air. So I like the idea, although I think if Brock's coming back, his focus should be Gunther and not Cody Rhodes. It's not a bad idea, but I don't think it's going to happen. I very much don't think it's going to happen. So I did mention at the beginning of the stream, yes, I will be covering Deadline results on No DQ, and I will be going live after the show with my recap. And I am doing predictions right now for Deadline. Now, keep in mind, I haven't been watching the NXT shows. I know Eric Bischoff was on one this week. Did not care enough to tune in for it. But I will give my predictions for it. And now that they're doing this Superstar shakeup and NXT is apparently involved, That's got me wondering what they might do here. So let's talk about it. We got the NXT Underground match, Lola Vice versus Jada Parker. I really don't know who's been pushed stronger at this point. I would say Lola Vice, but I know Jada Parker's coming off a loss not too long ago. So this one I'm kind of torn about. I'll say Lola wins it, but I'm not really sure on this one. Chat room seems to be Lola, so there you go. I'll go with Lola. We got the NXT Tag Team titles, Nathan Frazier and Fraxium, potential Tag Team of the Year, and the NoDQ.com year-end awards. Make sure you guys vote, by the way, over on NoDQ.com for Tag Team of the Year. They could win it. Versus Miles Bourne and Talon Heights. I don't know anything about those guys. So I'm going to say the champs retain. I don't know anything about the other team. And I would think that if they were something really special, that I would have known about them by now. Haven't they been teasing a breakup with this team, Fraxium, for like a year now, I feel like? So I don't know what the deal with that is. But yeah, I say, they're the no quarter catch crew. Yeah, they ain't winning. Watch, I'm dead wrong here, but I'm going to say they don't win. We have the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge match. Sol Ruca, who I think has a big upside. Zarya, Stephanie Valkyrie, Julia, and Ren Sinclair. I don't know anything about her. These matches are always very entertaining. I think it's going to come down to one of the newcomers, Julia or Stephanie Valkyrie. They're the ones that are pretty much considered to be the future of the NXT women's division. I'd love for Sol Ruca to win this, but I'm going to say Julia wins this one. I felt like when she was signed, she's the one that's going to be the future of the division. And Stephanie, I think, is another solid pick. It'll be one of them, but my official pick is Julia to win this one, build her up for the women's title. And then we got the Men's Iron Survivor Challenge. This one's interesting because now I'm wondering who's going to be called up, what's going to happen here. We got Wesley versus Javon Evans versus Nathan Frazier from Axiom's team. So he's pulling double duty in this versus Ethan Page versus Eddie Thorpe. Ethan Page, I feel like we've already seen him versus Trick Williams. Now, if Ridge Holland is winning the title, and we'll get to that in a minute, I don't see Ethan Page winning it. I don't really see Ethan Page winning anyways. Like, they already had him as NXT champion. Why go back to that? So I don't think Ethan Page is winning. Really, he should be on the main roster if you're going to continue utilizing him. Like, either put him on the main roster or don't use him. Like, he doesn't really need to be in NXT. Wesley, I don't know, feels like he's more of a North American title guy. I don't really see them pushing him. Now, Javon Evans is interesting to me. I'm actually going to go with Javon Evans. The reason being is that they had Randy Orton endorse him. They had Rob Van Dam endorse him. Like, they had Sean Waltman, X-Pac, endorse him. So they got all of the legends endorsing him like he's a big deal. Apparently, Eddie Thorpe is not even possibly going to be in the match because he was attacked by a mystery person. WWE loves to do these mystery attacker angles, don't they? Happening on NXT. They joke about the NXT parking lot being the most dangerous spot in WWE. And now we get these backstage attacks on SmackDown. Jade Cargill gets attacked. Street Profits get attacked. All these sneak attacks. But yeah, I'm going with Javon Evans just because of the fact that we've had 3 legends now over the past couple months endorse him as a big deal. I don't know if he's going to, I don't really think he's going to win the title or anything, but I think that they're going to give him a big opportunity and put him in a high profile match. That's just how I feel. Like, I feel like there's a reason WWE's been having him endorsed by these legends to set him up for something big. And they see big things in him. Now we got the main event, Trick Williams versus Ridge Holland. I guess Ridge Holland could win it. Ridge Holland is another guy, like, you had him on the main roster, then you bring him back to NXT. So I feel like at this point, either put him back on the main roster or let him go. Like, he doesn't need to be in NXT. And I don't think he should be NXT champion. I say put him on the main roster or cut ties with him. So, I mean, I don't think Trick Williams is going to be called up in the immediate future. Despite the superstar shakeup, I think there's still mileage with Trick Williams in NXT. I don't think you need to call him up just yet. So I'm going to say Trick Williams retains. I mean, I could see Ridge Holland winning the title, but my official pick is Trick Williams to retain the championship. As Jerry points out in the chat room, Ridge Holland is kind of like in a Baron Corbin role right now, which could be bad for him. But the guy's already been in NXT for years. He was on the main roster. Yeah, Big E got hurt. But I say get him back on the main roster if you're going to keep him employed. Just saying. Trick Williams wins this one. And I think Trick Williams will have a little bit more of a lengthy run as champion before he eventually goes to the main roster. That's my thoughts on NXT. Should be a good show. The Iron Survivor matches are very entertaining. It's a nice change of pace, and it's done once a year. Beyond that, it's a fairly standard card, but it should be a good one. Again, NoDQ.com will have coverage, and then after the show, I will be on to give my thoughts on NXT Deadline. Please spread the word, tell a friend, and that's all I got for tonight. If you enjoyed the video, please give this video a thumbs up and spread the word about NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel. You can direct people to the channel, NoDQ.com/YouTube. That's it. NoDQ.com/YouTube. Share that link with friends. Let them know. And that's it. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the latest. Have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy Deadline. Say yes to NoDQ, and I will see you all next time.